Started? Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yurtavata Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sirupam Sagarajatam Sagana Raganatam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parajana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagarita Sri Vishakamanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prajavano Sade Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Panchakalpatrubhascha Kripa Sindhu Vyahevacha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivadari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Nama Eva Kevalam Kolam Nastyeva Nastyeva Gatyaranyata Jayati Jayati Namananda Rupam Murare Venamita Nija Dharma Dhyana Pujariyatam Kattamapi Sakridatam Muktinam Praninam Yat Paramamritam Ekanam Jivanam Bhushanam Me Madaram Madanebhyopi Mangalebhyopi Mangalam Pavanam Pavanebhyopi Hare Nama Eva Kevalam. So reading from Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Jaiva Dharma. So, very wonderful, very important book. So the Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, the Siddhanta is established in this book. So the first part we have concluded. And we started with the second division, which is in regards to Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojan. So Brajanath asking from no, Raghunath Das Babaji Maharaj.
The same as Sannyasi Thakur?
No, different. Sannyasi Thakur, he became Vaishnav Das.
Oh.
Yeah. So here at Shiva Sangam, so he was staying there. And so Rajanath, he was a scholar of Nyaya Shastra, but he became influenced by hearing about Nimai Pandit, since he was also, of course, he's the Supreme Lord, but he was specifically known as a great scholar in Nyaya Shastra. And so Babaji Maharaj had told Rajanath that he will speak to him in regards to Dashamula. So these are the fundamental principles of Nimai Pandit's teachings. 10 Dasha Mula. So he quoted the famous verse, Amnaya Prahatatta Maharim. So this verse is good to learn. It's a long verse and big challenge, but if you can learn, it's fine. Amnaya Praha Tattvam Harim Iha Paramam Sarvashaktim Brasaptim. Tad binam sham shamscha divam prakriti kvaritam tad vimuktam stabhavat. Veda veda prakasham sakalam api hare sadanam soda bhaktim sadyam tat pritim evitupadishati janan gora chandra saim saha. So this is the Mangalacharan verse, the opening verse of this Dashamula, known as the Sutra Shloka. So that means the essence, just like we have Vedanta, and we have Vedanta Sutra. So they are explaining about Amnaya, teachings of the Vedas received through Guru Parampara, known as Amnaya. So they proclaim that Hari is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the evidence is there, first of all, Praman, from the Vedic literatures, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam. And so they are presenting fundamental truth, Pramay, known as Pramay. So first that Krishna is, or Sri Hari is alone the absolute truth. Second, Sarva Shaktiman, Sri Krishna is possessor of all potency. Akila Rasamrita Sindhu is the ocean of nectarian mellows. Then he's explaining about two jivas. The mukta jivas are the liberated souls, and the baddha jivas, the conditioned souls. So they are part and parcels of Krishna. And then he's explaining about Achinta Veda Veda Tattva. So everything is inconceivably different and non-different from Krishna. Different incarnations are there. They are expansions of Krishna. As explained in Bhagavatam, Ete Chamsa Kalapam Sam Krishna Stu Bhagavan Sam Indriyar Vyakalam Lokam Vridyante Yuge Yuge. So the spiritual world, the material world, is an emanation of Krishna. And again, so they are no different than different from him. And then explaining about pure devotional service, Shuddha Bhakti. So that is for the conditioned souls, the sadhana, to attain perfection. Only by Shuddha Bhakti, by pure devotional service, is one able to attain perfection. And then the ultimate goal is Krishna Priti, transcendental love and affection for Krishna. That is known as, so the sadhana, the practice, and then the goal, that is sadhya, sadhya vastu. So the goal is Krishna Priti, Krishna Prem. So that is an important verse. So for those who already established in devotional service, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Maharaj told his disciples that two verses you have to know, otherwise you are not my disciples. So one is this verse. So after some time, when you have learned some shloka of Bhagavad Gita, when you have learned some shlokas from Upadeshamrita, from Nectar of Devotion, after some time, maybe after 1 year or 2 years or 3 years, then you can learn this shloka. Long verse, but if you are young, you have the ability to learn, right? So you know the verse? Not yet.
What is the verse, Guruji?
Amnaya praha tattvam harim iha paramam sarva shaktim rasatyam
No, I don't know.
Tad vivinam amsamscha jivan prakriti kvalitam tad vimuktascha bhavet. It's very long verse.
I can memorize.
So, yeah, you're young and you know the verse? No. If I don't repeat every day, then I forget also. Veda ved prakasham sakalam api hare saranam sudha bhaktim sadyam tat pritim evit upadishati janiti gora chandra swayam. So if one is young and has some Brahminical inclination, then he can learn, then he must learn. And the second verse, which is important, Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Taddhama Vrindavanam. Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Taniyas Taddhama Vrindavanam. Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavaravarganiya Kalpita. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam Prema Pumattamaham Si Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Matam Nidam Tatra Dana Paraha. So, that slok, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada has also recited many times. So, that slok also we should try to learn. So, of course, not everyone is very scholarly inclined. So, if one is a simple devotee, if they cannot learn these two verses, it's also not a big deal. But if one is scholarly inclined, then he must learn these verses. So the preachers, sannyasis, teachers, they should know these verses. For the simple devotees, Gurave Gaura Chandraya Radhikaya Radhe Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Trinadapi Sunichena Talorapi Sahishnana Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadhari. So these are most important verses which everyone can learn and must learn. So these are easy, Anushtup, Chanda. So very short and easy to learn, but most essential. So we remember Sri Guru Gauranga Radha Krishna and all the devotees and offer pranam to them. And we should always be humble, tolerant, respectful, and always chant the holy names to Yuga Dharma. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Hare. So, but for those who are more scholarly, they must, or of those who are in the leading position, so they have to be knowing all these verses and the Dashamula, which is explained here by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which are fundamental truth established by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is mentioned here. Upadishati Janan Gora Chandra Swayam Saha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, he gave these instructions. And so the Acharyas have also, of course, elaborated on this, but then especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur, so he has mentioned in his book Dashamula Tattva, and he has mentioned here also in Jaiva Dharma. So these 10 fundamental tattvas, Dasha Mula Tattva. Mool means root also. Mool Tattva. So, just like you have a tree. So, but the tree cannot exist without the roots. And the bigger the tree, the bigger the roots are. And they are very strong. And because if the roots are not there, then the tree cannot stand. If the roots are not very strong and deep. So there are some trees which are very, very strong and big, and very difficult that they are knocked down. Other trees, just like if there's some big storm or hurricane, then they're knocked over, the trees. In America also many storms, huh?
Yeah.
And in Darwin also sometimes some storms are there, even in the summer. And then the trees are falling over. We've seen many times. Here also in Mumbai, sometimes a storm. I think, a few months ago was a storm.
Yeah.
I remember something, and then some trees fell over or something.
During monsoon season.
Monsoon season, yeah. Krishna's pastimes also. Sometimes storms are there. and Krishna, Indra became angry. And why Krishna is telling his father not to worship me. And he became angry. So, and then Govardhan Leela happened. Because heavy storms and so much water was there. And all the Brijvasis, oh Krishna, Krishna, help us. So much water. And Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill with the little finger of his left arm. I could have used the right arm also. But he used the left arm. He could have used the middle finger also. Left arm is a little weaker. And the little finger is small, more thin. But with little finger, big hill. Adbhut Krishna, wonderful Krishna. So big storm was there. And also, before that even, he was already a little big boy, 7 years old. And lifting a big hill, Bhagavan. So, but before that, small boy, Damodar Leela, and Mother Yashoda binding Krishna, the Supreme Lord. But in the pastime, he becomes controlled, mugdha, bewildered. But still he's sarvagya, he knows everything. So Maria Yashoda bound Krishna. He let himself be bound. First she was not able to. Little boy Krishna crying. So he was mugdha. His eternal potency bewildered and he was really crying. I was not making his show. Okay, now I have to cry. No, he was really crying and afraid of Maria Yashoda, and fear personified is afraid of Krishna. Big demons are afraid of Krishna. So that he becomes afraid of Maria Yashoda, and she's trying to bind him, but not possible because he's Sarva Shaktiman, as explained here. Sarva Shakti, that is one of the fundamental truth. Sarva Shaktiman, the possessor of all potency. Akila Rasamrita Sindhu. Rasamrita. She is an ocean of course, an ocean of mercy and of ocean of transcendental nectar. So she bound him. He can usually not be bound, but because of her love and Krishna's mercy, she bound him. And then so he was still crawling a little bit, and he was bound to the mortar, which was also not easy to pull. Small boy, she's thinking, bind him to the mortar, he cannot run away here and there. So, but he's the Supreme Lord, and he was crawling and pulling the mortar, which an ordinary child cannot do, but he's the Supreme Lord. And that got stuck between these two big Yamalajun trees. You have Yamalajun trees here in Mumbai? Huge trees and very strong roots. Big storm can knock them over. So they're stuck there. And so Krishna is there, small boy. And some other small boys were there. Toddler, small boy. Some even smaller than Krishna. He could hardly speak. And so he's pulling a little bit. And the boy's watching. And oh, boom! The big trees fell over. Big bang. Hoi, hoi, what happened? Everyone coming, running. So, big tree, big roots. So, root, mool, tattva. So, most important conclusions of the scripture. Siddhanta. Siddhanta. So, one should know what is the Siddhanta. Especially the leaders. They should be Siddhantavit, knowing the Siddhanta. So knocked over these trees and then big trees, and then they all came and hi, hi, Krishna, what happened? Hi, these big trees knocked over. They couldn't believe, but they didn't see a storm, and they wondered how happened. And before Trinavat, demon was there, wirbel storm, and everything was shaking, but these trees, they stood still. Because that time Krishna was even smaller. And so they wondered, how come this? There was no storm. How they got knocked over? And the small boy said, Krishna pulled this mortar and they fell over. And the people, what you're talking? Told these small boys, what they're talking, these boys. It's not possible, no? How he can do that? So that is Adbhut Krishna, wonderful Krishna. Sarva Shaktiman, Param Tattva, Rasabdim, Ras Abdim. Abdim means ocean also. Different names for ocean. Sagar, Abdim, Sindhu. So he knocked it over. So then explaining about two, yeah. Anyway, we should read here the next slok. So the next slok will be first actual slok of Dashamula. So this is the essence, it's mentioned there. So the next slok will be the first actual slok of the Dashamula, and it elaborates on the first of the Dashamula Tattva, namely the authoritative Vedic literature, Amnai, of Param Tattva. So the Vedic literatures are Praman Tattva. So they're Praman, the fundamental truth, and evidence. Praman is evidence. So it is there in the Vedic literatures. And also another wonderful book is there. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's dear associate, one of the 6 Goswamis, Jiva Goswami. So he wrote the Bhagavad Sandarbha, Sat Sandarbha, 6 Sandarbhas. And there he also gave Praman in regards to Krishna being the absolute truth. The Srimad Bhagavatam being the essential, authoritative Vedic literature. From the 2nd to the 8th slok, Sambandha Tattva is described. Sambandha Tattva. Sambandh. So these 3 aspects are there actually. That is Sambandha Abhideya Prayojan. The ninth sloka describes Abhideya Tattva, which is the sadhana for attaining the ultimate goal. And the 10th sloka describes Prayojan Tattva, which is the sadhya, goal itself. Prayojan, the necessity, the goal that is to be attained, that is a necessity, Prayojan. So Sambandha Gyan, Abhideya Tattva and Prayojan Tattva. Sambandha Gyan, that is the first thing we have to understand. So, that we are not this body and we are spirit soul. And that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He resides in the spiritual world, and so somehow we are fallen in this material world. And we have to try to get out of it. So in brief. And so under the process, that is sadhana bhakti. Abhideya tattva. So that we have to learn what is the sadhana to attain the goal. Padati, the process, and then the goal. Priti, love, prema ultimately. Bhakti, Shuddha Bhakti, Prema Bhakti. So that also we have to try to understand properly how to achieve. So one is the sadhana, which we are performing, and then how to become then absorbed in pure devotional service. So that we have to learn by hearing from the acharyas, the advanced devotees, by studying the scriptures and trying to realize the subject matter. When Brajanath had heard the meaning of the shloka, he said, Babaji Maharaj, I do not have anything to ask now. If any question occurs to me after hearing the next slok, I will submit it at your lotus feet. Now can you explain the first shloka of the Dashamula? Babaji, very good. Now listen attentively. So it is important to listen attentively. And Prabhupada used to see also, because I listened attentively. Therefore, now I'm able to speak also nicely. And he mentioned that his spiritual master recognized it also. One time, Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, he went to Braj to perform Braj Mandal Parikrama with his disciples and followers. So Prabhupada, of course at that time he was married, and he has this pharmaceutical job and business. But he thought, let me also go to Braj Mandal Parikrama. So he went, and he had, I believe one of his sons was there. Vrindavan Das was most devotional and inclined to follow his father. He was chanting 16 rounds every day. The other sons were not so much inclined. But this Vrindavan Das was a devotee. I met him also in Vrindavan. He had come. So, and then they were doing parikrama, and Prabhupada participated. And one time they went to Radhakund, and Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada saw. And one day he decided not to go out for parikrama, to lead the devotees, but he told his sannyasis to lead them. And then Prabhupada thought, let me just go to see my Guru Maharaj, and I will also not go for parikrama, but instead I go and see my Guru Maharaj. And maybe I can hear something, I can ask some questions that would be more beneficial for me. So that is important to be in the association of the spiritual master, the pure devotee. And then, so there was some conversation, and a few disciples were there of Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada. And Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada then told them that Abhay Babu, Abhay Charanarani Prabhupada, he likes to listen. He listens carefully. So he pointed out, and so Prabhupada mentioned. And therefore now I'm able to speak. So we should listen carefully. Like the sages, or of course when Shukadeva Goswami spoke to Parikshit, that so many sadhus were there also. Silence, everyone listening. And there were many sadhus there, and no loudspeaker, and no microphone and loudspeaker. So everyone had to be silent. And then he was speaking. So empowered by the Lord, and everyone listened carefully. Sutta Goswami was there, one of the sages, and he listened carefully. And later on, then he also spoke to Shonagrishi and others. So thousands of sages were there. Again, also everyone listening very carefully. So at that time, in this kind of assembly, only men were there. No women, no babies crying. And no mobile phone. So quiet, and so because you had to speak very loudly. And they were receptive, so that they were able to hear also. The sound vibration, transcendental sound vibration. So when we listen carefully, then, of course, then we have to. So when we listen carefully, so that is also mentioned by Prabhupada in Nectar of Instruction, in the 8th verse. So the essential verse of Nectar of Instruction. Tannam rupa charitadi sukirtan smitano pramena rosanam arsinyo jatistan vraje tadandaragi jana anudami kalam nayet akilam ityupadesha saram. So this is the essence of all advice. Rupa Goswami is saying. So what is that? Tan Nama Rupa. Tan refers to Krishna. Because in the previous verse is explaining about Krishna. And Krishna Nam. So by hearing about Krishna, Tan Nama Rupa Charitadi Sukirtan Smritana. Sukirtan, so we should describe, we should hear, and then we should describe very nicely about Krishna's name, form, qualities and pastimes. Kramena manasani yoja. So step by step we should try to be absorbed in remembering Krishna. So it means we cannot immediately always remember Krishna, but step by step then Braje, so we should be in Braj. If you can be physically, it's good. If not, then mentally you have to be in Braj. Tad Anuragi, Jan Anugami. So, those who have Anurag for Krishna, a strong attachment, transcendental attachment, love. So, Rag is, so of course, there's transcendental love. So, different stages of love. Prem, Snehaman, Pranay, Rag, Anurag, Bhav, Mahabhav. So the bridge bus is the friends of Krishna. The parents, they have this anurag, strong attachment for Krishna and love, strong loving attachment, feelings for Krishna. So Jan Anugami, so we should follow in their footsteps. Kalam Nayad Akilam Ituparesha Saram. So we should try to be completely absorbed in that. That is the essence of all advice. And also, so in this purport Prabhupada is explaining about the process. So first we hear Shravan Dasha on the platform of hearing. We have to hear. And so again here we have to hear attentively. And then Varandasha. Varan means to accept. So we have to accept. So one kind of hearing. Somebody speaking, yes, yes, yes. You're listening? Yes, yes, yes. You're hearing? Yeah, yeah, yes. But still thinking of something else also. Not maybe so interested. Anyway, let him speak. But so it's going in one ear and going out the other ear. So, but if you listen carefully and if you're interested, and you take it to heart, like you hear and you take it to the heart, Varandasha, you accept it. And it's there in the heart. Better than in the brain, it should be in the heart. So love or devotion comes from the heart. It is just not something from intellectual thing. So sometimes somebody may be very intellectual and knowledgeable also, but then his heart is not there. Or if somebody is not so intellectual, but his heart is there, so that is better. So one may be simple devotee also, but if he's dedicated, then the love will manifest. So that has to be done. So that is the essence. So Krishna Swaram Janam Chasya. So in the same verse of Upadesh Shamarita in the purport, these two verses are quoted from Nectar of Devotion, important verses which we should know. You know both?
Krishna Swaram
Janam Chasya Nija Prishtam Samitam Takatas Chaso Kuryat Vrasam Braja Brajay Sada. You know the verse? Not yet, okay. You have notebook? You have notebook? You should note it down. This verse you should learn. It's easy to learn.
I heard this first time from Shalana.
Okay. Yeah. Krishna Swaram Janam Chasya Nija Prishtam Samitam. This is from Nectar of Devotion. You can make a note. And this is easy verse to learn, but this is also essential. Before learning this one, which is very long, you can learn this simple one. This one, Amnaya Prahatatvam, this long verse. But this verse is easy to learn. So that is also essential. Krishna Smaram Janam Chasya. Nija Prishtam Samitam. So we should remember Krishna always. But not only Krishna, because Krishna is not around. Nija Prishtam Samitam. So those who are Preshta, who are very dear to Krishna, or Mukunda Preshta. So we should remember them. Krishna, we should remember Krishna, Krishna's devotees. Maria Shoda, Nanda Baba, Krishna's friends. Sudam, Sridam, Madhumangal, and so on. So, Arjun Saka. Which Arjun are you? Pandavarjun or
Braj.
Arjun from Braj?
Braj.
Okay. He told you? Maharaj told you?
No.
Arjun Saka?
No, I
But
read.
you believe? Okay.
I read
Arjun
it in Rupa
Saka.
Goswami's Radha
Okay.
Krishna Kanadesh.
Oh, yeah, I'm Arjun Sakadas, who is very dear friend.
Actually,
Ashtasakas
when
are
I
there.
read that, this is before my Diksha, I read
Mhm.
it and I felt how wonderful if I get that name.
And then
And
Maharaj.
Guru Maharaj did the same.
Arjun Saka.
Arjun
From
Saka.
Arjun you became Arjun
Yes, sir.
Saka. You must have taught Arjun, right? Pandavarjun, right? Now when you gave the name,
Yeah,
right?
At that time it was that mood was.
Arjun, Moon, Krishna's friend in Dwarka, Arjun. I gave him this name. And then-
the strong
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
as in,
Guru Maharaj
But
promoted.
then he got promoted. He got upgraded to Arjun Saka in branch. Arjun Saka Das in branch. So 8 dear friends of Krishna, 5 kinds of gopis, but 4 kinds of gopas. So those who are very dear to Krishna of the same age, those are 8, but 4 are most dear, most close. Sudam, Sridam, Vasudam, and Kinkini. There are 4. So we say Krishna's buddies. It is even mentioned in one book, what is it, Priyonarma, the book. Ananava, Priyonarma, what is it? I can't remember. Priya Bhakti Rasama or something like that. A book by one Gaudiya Vaishnav explaining about Krishna and Krishna's friends and Madhurya Bhav, the Sakya Bhav. So there it is mentioned. So Vasudam, Sudam, Sridam and Kikini, they represent Krishna's body. It is explained in this way. Krishna's mind, Krishna's ego, and Krishna's soul. Of course, they are one. So Krishna's, but still, so that's also it means they are very close to Krishna. Like sometimes you can see people say, "Oh, my body," means my friend, my very close friend, my body. So
Is this the Priyo Bhakti Rasarma?
Preya Bhakti Rasarnava. Preya Bhakti Rasarnava. Yeah.
Translator Bhanu Maharaj.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that is there about Sakya Bhav. So those in Sakya Bhav, they will read this book. I read it also one time. Interesting. Because we should be knowledgeable. So. But when we are more inclined towards Madhurya Bhav. So we read Ujjwal Nilamani also, which is after Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So everything is there in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, but then in this there is more. So in regards to Madhurya Bhav. So these 4 friends are there, and then the Ashtasakas are there. So Gandhar, Ujjwal, Basant, Stoka Krishna, Arjun, and some others are there. So we should try to be absorbed as much as possible on this subject matter. So Krishna Vananti Sa Krishnam Sangapagasta Pasadam. No. Krishna Smaram Janam Chasya Nija Prishtam Samitam Tatta Katara Chascharya. So we should be absorbed in hearing about Krishna and Krishna's associates in Braj. And in this way, one should be in Braj, one should stay in Braj. And in Prabhupada is written, and the Acharyas have explained, if not physically, then mentally, we should be in Braj. We should be in Braj always, so if not physically, then mentally. And actually it is more important to be mentally absorbed in Braj than physically. Sometimes some people come to Braj and then they have the material consciousness there and the mobile, and even we have seen. And then
Dish TV.
doing,
Maybe they have Dish TV
Dish
also.
TV, yeah. And then they do parikrama also, Govardhan, and then they have some Hollywood, Bollywood songs also where they do parikrama. So that is not absorbed. So even though being there in Braj but not being absorbed in Krishna, then that is not truly Braj. So, but one may be in Mumbai, right? One may be here in Mumbai, but thinking about Braj, and then one can be in Braj.
The story also, Bhakti Siddhanta Swami and his disciple. His disciple was sick and wanted to see his mother, and he didn't allow him to meet his mother. And then when he was leaving his body, at that time he said, okay, now he can meet his mother. So because he was trying to keep him away so that when he's away, otherwise he'll be attached to his mother. So then he prevented him from doing that, so that he can be absorbed in the association of devotees in the train.
Yeah. So then the second verse, Seva Sadhaka Rupana Siddha Rupana Chatrahi Tadbhavalipsanakaya Brajaloka Sarataha. So we should follow the Brijavasis. As sadhakas, practicing devotees, so we follow the spiritual master, the previous acharyas, who are ultimately in Braj Bhav, Rupa Goswami. So we may not be absorbed completely in Braj as sadhaka, but we know what is the goal, and we follow the path of sadhana bhakti, which is leading to Braj Bhakti. But then if one is more advanced, then one will meditate on Krishna in Braj, and Krishna with his associates and their pastimes. So both as sadhakas, practicing devotee, we should already be aware and know that is the essence, to be in Braj Bhav. And then when one is more advanced, then naturally it will be there, Braj Bhav. So, like Prabhupada, he was in Braj Bhav always. And therefore, so he established many temples and established Konitai, of course, to be also in Navadvip. But then he established many Radha Krishna temples. And one time he was in New York speaking about different subjects, matters, then they spoke about Vrindavan. And Prabhupada said, that was in New York, where he established Radha Govinda. And then he was saying that I am always in Vrindavan. Physically in New York, but thinking about Vrindavan. You have been Radha Govinda Temple, New York? You have been?
Yeah.
Acha, the Bhakti Center.
No. Radha Govinda temple, the big temple. We will know.
Skarmahon Street, Brooklyn.
Yeah, yeah,
Skarmahon Street, Z305.
yeah, the big hall, temple
Yeah.
hall.
I was there for a visit, but I stayed for 3 years. Worshipping Radha Govinda, which was established by Prabhupada in Jaipur. And they were donated by Gayatri Devi, the Queen of Jaipur. So she was very favorable. So, so that is the essence of all advice. So these two verses is good to know. Seva sadhaka rupena, siddha rupena chatrahi. That you should also learn. You can make notes and then you can learn. You also learning some verses sometimes? Anushka? Yeah?
The temple.
Yeah. So okay, so he's asking about the first verse. So listen attentively. Svata siddho vedo haridaita vedha parivrittitaha pramanan sat praptam pramiti vishayan tan nava vedhan tata pratyakshadi pramiti saitam sadayati naha na yukti starka kya pravishati tata shakti rahita. The self-evident Vedas which have been received in the Sampradaya through the Guru Parampara by recipients of Sri Hari's mercy such as Brahmaji and others are known as Amnai Vakya. The 9 Prameya Tattvas are established by these Amnaya Vakyas. With the help of other Pramanas that follow the guidance of these Shastras, such as evidence obtained by direct perception, Pratyaksha. Reasoning that is only based on logic is always lame in the matter of evaluating inconceivable subject matters, since logic and argument have no access to in the realm of the inconceivable. So that is the first verse. So the Vedas are Swata Siddho. So Siddha means perfect, or here Swata, self-evident. But this knowledge of the scripture should be received in the disciplic succession, should be received from the spiritual master, otherwise it will be difficult to realize. But in the Guru Parampara it becomes Swata Siddha, self-evident Vedas. So without the mercy of the spiritual master we cannot understand the essence. So that is indicated here. Haridayat are the dear servants of the Lord. And then also important point is, so these evidences are there, establishing this fundamental truth. And then also, here is explaining, Nayukti Starka Akya. So reasoning, maybe it is like this or like that, or logic, Nyai, Tarka. So even one may be very intelligent, materially speaking, but the transcendental subject matter cannot be understood by one's endeavor Even one may be a great thinker, logician, studied the Vedas, but one has to receive knowledge in a disciplic succession. One has to receive the knowledge from the Spirit Master, who is realized, who has received from his Spirit Master. And then one can get access to the transcendental realm and knowledge and understanding. Rajanath, is there any evidence within the Vedas to show that Brahmaji gave instruction through disciplic succession?
Mundaka Upanishad.
Huh?
Mundaka Upanishad.
Yeah. Babaji, yes, there is. In the Mundaka Upanishad it is stated, Brahma Devanam Pratama Sambhavuva Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta Sa Brahma Vidyam Sarvidya Pratishtham Atharvaya Jeshta Putraya Praha. Brahmaji, who is the creator of the entire universe and the protector of the worlds, was the first Deva to appear. He gave complete instructions on Brahma Vidya, the basis of all knowledge, to his eldest son, Atharva. It is also stated further on in Mundaka Upanishad. Yenaksharam Purusham Veda Satyam Provachatam Tattvato Brahma Vidyam. So Brahma Vidya, this transcendental knowledge. Brahma Vidya is knowledge that reveals the true Swarup of Parabrahma, the indestructible Purushottam, the Supreme Lord. So it reveals the Swarup of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is ultimately Brahma Vidya. And then everything is included in Krishna. And the process is included also. So Sambandha, Videya and Prayojan Gyan. Prajana, do you have any evidence that the rishis who compiled the Smriti Shastras have given the correct explanation of the Vedas in them? Babaji, evidence for this is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, the crest jewel of all Shastras, in the 11th canto. Kalena nashta pradaye vaniyam veda samgita mayadhu brahmane prokta dharmo yasyam madatmakaha Tena prokta saputraya manave purve jayasa tato brigvadaya agrinam sapta brahma maharshaya. Sri Bhagavan said, by the influence of time, the Vedas containing my instructions on Bhagavad Dharma were lost when the cosmic devastation occurred. At the beginning of the next Brahma Kalpa, at the time of creation, I again instructed Brahma in that same Veda. Brahma instructed his son Manu in the Vedic knowledge, and Manu in turn instructed the same science to the 7 sages headed by Brigu. So these the Vedas, so they are eternal. Vedic knowledge, Brahma Veda is eternal, but sometimes in due course of time it becomes lost. But then the Lord Himself is coming again and then He's manifesting. Even Bhagavad Gita was lost, and then He spoke it again. Let's explain Bhagavad Gita. Evam parampara praptam imarja rasha vidu sakara mata yoganashta parantapa. So this knowledge is received in disciplic succession, but sometimes it is lost. So it was lost at one point, and then He spoke it again to Ikshvaku. So the son of Vivaswan, the sun god. So different times, so the knowledge is given to different personalities, and then it is brought down. So he spoke to Brahma, this transcendental knowledge that is done in the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. He spoke to Lord Shiva, so then became then the Rudra Sampradaya. And in the form so then of Hamsavatar, he spoke to the four Kumara, the Kumara Sampradaya. And then Narayan, his expanded form, spoke to Lakshmi, and she also distributed this transcendental knowledge.
So to Rudra and Kumaras, Brahma spoke.
No,
Krishna only spoke.
yeah, Krishna spoke to Brahma, and
No.
Hansavatar spoke to the
Hansavatar of Brahma, no?
what? Hansavatar spoke to the four Kumaras.
Hansavatar is Krishna's avatar. Or,
Yes, of course.
so Brahma did not directly speak to Kumaras?
No, he also spoke to them, but also Hansavatar spoke to the four Kumaras.
Okay.
And then Krishna also directly spoke to Shiva. Although Shiva, he appears, so the four Kumaras is the secondary creator of Brahma. Four Kumaras came from him. They must have received some knowledge also from Lord Brahma, because he's the father. The father is giving knowledge.
Mm.
But then, so they decided, of course, they knew that he's planning to populate the universe, and he told some personalities to get married and produce children, and they thought, no, we don't want to get married. So they were exalted, so by the mystic power they just remained like small boys. So they didn't have to get married. And then, bye-bye Pitaji, Haribol. And he got some knowledge then from Hansavatar also. And Lord Shiva, he appeared also from between the eyebrows of Lord Brahma. Shiva manifested. So he must have gotten some knowledge also from Lord Brahma. But then he got directly instructed also by Krishna. So that is the Rudra Sampradaya. So he instructed Brahma, Brahma instructed his son, so different sons he has, Lord Brahma. So Manu also. So instructed Manu. And Manu instructed 7 great sages headed by Bhrigu Muni. Brajanath, what is the necessity for a sampradaya? Babaji, most people in this world accept the shelter of Mayavad philosophy and follow that inauspicious path which is devoid of bhakti. Consequently, if there were no separate sampradaya for those who practice Shuddha Bhakti, that is unattained by the faults of Mayavad, it would be very difficult to attain genuine satsanga. Therefore, it is stated in the Padma Purana, Sampradaya Vihina Yamantraste Vifpala Mataha Sri Brahma Rudra Sanaka Vaishnava Kshiti Pavanaha. So these 4 sampradayas are there, and then prominent acharyas are there. Vaishnavacharyas in the four Sampradaya, namely Ramanuja in the Sri Sampradaya, Madhvacharya in the Brahma Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami in the Rudra Sampradaya, and Limbaditya in the Chatusan Sampradaya purify the whole universe. Diksha mantras not received from the acharyas in one of these four sampradayas will be fruitless. So the Gayatri mantras, the Diksha mantras refer to the Gayatri mantras. They have to be received from the acharyas and the sampradayas. Of these four, the Brahma Sampradaya is the most ancient and has continued through the disciplic succession until the present day. So first, Krishna spoke to Brahma. The Chatushlok is there, Bhagavatam. 4 essential verses are there. And the second canto, 9th chapter, text number 33 to 36. So even before that, Krishna spoke to Brahmaji. What is it, the verse? Jnanam sarva guyanam yad vijnanam samanvitam sarahasya tadangascha gaditam maya grihana. Jnanam param guyam me savijnanam samahitam tat rahasya tadangascha gaditam mayam sarva. So Krishna is speaking to Brahma, that is before these 4 essential verses. Jnanam param guyam me. So I'm giving you this very confidential knowledge. So included in the knowledge, Jnanam param guyam me yad vijnanam samanvitam. So I'm giving the realization. So the knowledge is there, included in knowledge is the realization. But it's a secret. Sarahasya tadangascha. So then you please accept this. So you get the knowledge, but then, so the realization is there, but so you have to adopt the principles of bhakti, anga, sarasya, tadangascha. If you engage in devotional service, then you will get the realization. So you have to do something. Simply inquiring knowledge is not sufficient, but then you have to apply in your life. You have to engage in devotional service, and then the realization will be there. So, the first knowledge is that we have to understand that we are not this body, we are spirit soul. So, Atma Tattva. So, we have heard many times, right? How many times you heard? We are not this body, we are spirit soul. How many times you have heard? How many times you have heard? 100 times? And more than 100, huh? 200, maybe 1,000 times. You have realized? Not yet. Huh? Only a little bit realized. So we know we are spirit soul, and we have faith, and we have some understanding. But so, I'm spirit soul. I'm the servant of Krishna. So we have faith and we have some understanding, therefore we are doing some devotional service, we are chanting. So that is the beginning of the realization. But then you have to be fully engaged in devotional service, and then the realization will be more. So the practical realization is just like when you have a coconut. First it is known as dab, green coconut. So you open it and you drink it, nice. And sometimes there's a little pulp inside. When it is completely kacha, hardly anything. When it's little more getting ripe, then the coconut is there, the pulp is there. But in the green coconut it is soft. But then it becomes more ripe, pakka, then the coconut becomes brown, the shell. And then inside, so the coconut becomes very thick. And it is nice when it is kacha, it is nice when it is pakka, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Prabhuji,
and like, yeah.
yesterday they have brought coconut for the
What? What?
Yesterday for the Pushya Abhishek.
And they
Each
brought
one
coconut.
of them got one coconut.
Okay, yeah, good. For the deities. Okay, nice. Good. And the deities drank? Okay. And the prasad?
Was distributed.
Okay, good. So kacha coconut is good too. Like kacha am and pakka am. So therefore a devotee, even when he's kacha, he's good also. But when he's pakka, it's better. So coconut also, and the mango, when it is pakka, it is
Best.
more nice, best. And then you can get the ras. So devotee who is pakka is relishing namras. So when the coconut is completely ripe, so the pulp which is inside becomes detached. What is called copra in Hindi? Copra, huh? And then you shake the coconut and you hear tok 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 because the pulp is detached from the coconut shell. So Prabhupada has explained in 7th canto, it is like this. When you're realized, you can see yourself as different from this body. You're detached from the body. Now our consciousness is attached to the body, the Atma Buddhi. We are one, right? The soul is absorbed in the body, like kacha, coconut. The shell is there with, the pulp is attached to the shell. So the consciousness is absorbed still, although we have knowledge, but it's not yet realized. But when you realize, then the consciousness is detached from the body and attached to Krishna, and then you see you are different from this body. That is realization of Atma. Clear, right? Okay. Realized? Okay. It will come after some time. So that is already something. But then, still then you have to know more. Then you have to know your relationship with Krishna. That is Swarup Siddhi, realization of the Swarup. So, as a Gopar Gopi, that is Swarup Siddhi. And then you are eligible, after giving up the body, to go where Krishna performs his pastimes, and then you can enter the pastimes. That is Vashtu Siddhi. So even if you realize yourself, and even you can see Krishna's pastime as a pure devotee, as a sadhaka, but you cannot be in the pastime. You are not in the pastime. You can see Krishna's Leela. Wow, Krishna is dancing with the gopis. Oh, Krishna is playing with his friends. Or Aran is cooking for Krishna, is chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Wow, wonderful. 2 kinds of japa. Of course, different kinds of japa. One is you chanting here and the mind is going here and there. Aparadhanam. And then is Abhas, then Abhas Nam, reflection of the name. And in chanting, and then you can sometimes remember, and then you do mantra upasana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And then in your mind, Kasturi tilakam lalata patale vaksastale kaustavam Nasagre varamuktidam karatali kankanam sarvanga harichandanam suritam kante chamuktavali gopastri parivestito vijayate gopala churamani. You're chanting Hare Krishna. And because you know the verse by heart? Okay, not yet. It's a good verse to learn. And then when you worship the Lord and you chant different mantras, or Dibya Bindana Galpadrumaro Simaratnagara Simma Samastam Shrimad Radha Shila Govinda Deva Preshtali Biseva Smarami. And if you know the meaning, then you can see Krishna is there. So, if you know the verse and you recite regularly and you know the meaning, and then so Krishna is there seated on a jewel throne under a Kalpavriksha tree. Radharani is with him and the gopis are there. O Kasturi Tilakam Lalata Patali, on his forehead he has Kasturi Tilak. On his chest he has a Kaustubhamani, he's holding the flute as bangles, surrounded by the gopis, as a pearl necklace. Nasagre Muktidam, he has a pearl here in front of his nose. It's not just hanging, but it's some gold, sometimes ladies also have here. Little gold, you have? No. We want to decide, huh? Some they have down here also. And then a little pearl here.
Your daughter is.
My daughter has.
I wanted to get one.
You wanted to get, yeah. But you have here to the side, yeah. So if you recite and so that is mantropasana, you chant the Maha Mantra, but then you may sometimes recite some verse. Because you're worshipping the deity or Krishna Nam, you worship Krishna Roop. When you chant Hare Krishna, Krishna the person is there, so you can offer prayers to Krishna. And then, if one is highly advanced, then Swarasiki Upasana. Because one is in pure consciousness, then Krishna Nam, so Krishna Nam, Roop, Guna, Lila. And then so the advanced devotee, then he can see. And then so much happiness is there. Namras. But then suddenly Krishna disappears. And then hoi hoi, then Hare Krishna, and then crying. Where is Krishna in separation? So the devotee with Swarup Siddha, he can see the pastime, but he's not there in the pastime. He can see, and he can pray when I will be there. Or he can offer something mentally to Krishna, but he's not in the pastime. So that is not possible as sadhaka. But if you are disadvanced and you realize your Swarup, that I'm a gopi, and then you're praying that you can enter the pastime, then you give up the body and you take birth where Krishna performs his pastimes. And then you grow up, a small baby, and then become bigger and bigger, and then first exchange together with the eternal associates, the gopis, and then you get the chants. Rupa Manjari is there and then taking Liliu by the hand, okay, let's go to Radharani and we can do a little seva. Must some utensils or something. And then maybe, so it's Rupa Raghunath Das Saraswati Manjari saying, Kachachita Pada Padme goes to is it? And so he's praying that let me also get the mercy and be able to serve the lotus feet of Radharani. And then so Rupa Manjari is then telling Rati Manjari, okay, now I can massage the lotus feet of Radharani. So we can aspire when we are and purify consciousness. When I will be able to serve the lotus feet of Radharani. So as Pujari, you're fortunate you get an opportunity also. But then the real thing is that while chanting the holy names, then you can be absorbed and then you can perceive the divine couple, and you can, and then you can pray, and mentally you can touch the lotus feet, or you can see the pastime, but then only when you enter Krishna Lila, then you can actually then, in your transcendental form, then you can get the opportunity to serve the lotus feet of Radharani and then help in the service of the divine couple. And then when you reach your age, at 12 years old or so, then you can enter the pastimes and in the spirit world. So that is the perfection, Sampati Dasha. So out of these four Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya is the most ancient, has continued through the disciplic succession until the present day. These Sampradayas adhere to the system of Guru Parampara. They have brought the Vedanta and other supremely auspicious literatures unchanged from the most ancient times. By the potency of the system of Parampara, there is not the slightest chance that they have made any change or eliminated any portion. There is therefore no reason to doubt the literature that the Sampradaya has authorized. Sampradaya is an effective and indispensable arrangement, and for this reason, the Sat Sampradaya system is continuing amongst saints and sadhus from the most ancient times. So Sat Sampradaya, the bona fide Sampradaya. So that is up to this day. So the spiritual master is speaking, is explaining to the disciple. And then those who are most qualified of the disciples, we have studied the scriptures under the guidance of the spiritual master, so the Shastravid, they know the scriptures, especially the Gauri Vaishnava scriptures. Siddhanta Ved, they should know the conclusion of the scriptures. Like this Dashamula, they should know. So therefore the teachers or the preachers, sannyasis, the Brahmana Vaishnavas, they should know these verses and these conclusions. And Rasa Tattva. And then they can give that knowledge to others. And then if one is becoming pure, then there's no chance of any deviation. Then as he has heard from the spiritual master, and as he has read the scriptures, and then memorized, therefore we have to memorize some shlokas, which are there from the scriptures. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. We hear from Guru, the previous Acharya, and then Shastra. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. And so that, as we heard, that we distribute, or we give further on, that is Guru Parampara. And we should not add anything, or we should not leave something out. So as it is, just like the postman. So somebody, now it's not so much happening now, right? The boxes are not there anymore. You've ever seen the boxes of post office?
Red color.
Red color, they're still there.
On the streets.
They're still there.
They were probably not born that time.
Well, they're already 20 years old, right?
This was so many years back.
But you have seen, huh?
The postman used to come in cycle. And
Yeah, right.
I think now it's kind of obsolete.
Now it's hardly there.
Yeah.
Hardly anyone is posting anything in the
Yeah.
in the post box.
We were once discussing probably like nowadays we have GPay and everything.
Yeah.
Back then they had money order in
Yeah.
India.
And they were putting in the post box the letters. And if you're lucky, it will reach. In India, it was sometimes questionable. Anyway, so the postman is taking the letters from the post box. In our childhood we saw, right? Also in the West, going on the cycle. And then in the West, yellow box. And on the cycle also with the yellow box and the letters, and then he's distributing to the people. Going to the house, here, letter for you. Okay. So he's taking the letters from the box, and he's not opening and looking what is inside and writing something or crossing. No, this I don't like. No. He's giving
Addition, deletion.
Yeah. What is he writing, this person? No, that's not nice. I should cross this. I should add something. No. He gives the letter as it is. So Prajanat are the names of all the acharyas in the Sampradaya available in order of succession. Babaji, only the names of the most prominent acharyas who have appeared from time to time are mentioned. So, so that is an important point. So, also. So in the Sampradaya, the names of the acharyas are mentioned. But, like from Lord Brahma, it's such a long time. So, thousands and millions of years, so we cannot have all the names of the parampara. Otherwise, you need a big book, right? So the prominent names are there. So here, Brajanada would like to hear the Guru Parampara of the Brahma Sampradaya. So then we'll hear next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Clear? Any question? Okay.
Actually, we are Tatastha still.
Actually, we are Tatastha. Yes, definitely still.
So we were never in the spiritual planet.
No, we were in the spiritual world, but we were not serving Krishna.
So like Brahma Jyoti.
Yeah, in the spiritual sky.
So
Brahma Jyoti.
So we were not in the Krishna Lok or Vaikuntha.
No, this there in the spiritual world, Vaikuntha, or even there's a spiritual sky in Vaikuntha, spiritual sky in Golok. So jivas are there, unlimited jivas.
But not serving Krishna.
Not serving
So
Krishna.
then how can Jiva has already decided rasa? Like we were not.
No, the jiva is not decided.
So
It is by Krishna's will, it is manifested.
okay.
The Surup is manifested. So different jivas have different Surup. It is there in seed-like form. Our Surup is there already, but it is not manifested.
So it's Krishna's will.
Yeah, it is
what-
Krishna's will. You cannot decide if you want to be a gopi or if you want to be a gop or you want to be a monkey. So that is already there. You cannot choose.
So it is Krishna who decides for the living entities as to in what
Yeah.
capacity he wants them to serve him.
Or
Yeah.
good.
No, it's Krishna. It's not even Guru. No. Guru is not deciding. It's Krishna. Guru will help to be so that it is revealed. Okay. So Guru is giving some Bandha Gyan. So, but Guru is not giving the relation or the Surup. It is already there. Is helping to reveal. So, by the mercy of Guru and by our practice, then it will be revealed. It's not the Guru will say, okay, here is your Swarup. You're a gopi. He will not say like this.
Can the Guru see our Swarup?
Yeah, he may see.
The disciples.
He may see. If Krishna is telling him, then
So he is pure, so he should be
Yeah.
able to see.
So Krishna, so the pure devotee, so Krishna is all knowing. And Krishna is Trikalagya, he knows past, present, future. And he has unlimited knowledge. So with the pure devotees, he is also Trikalagya. If he is fully surrendered to Krishna, he knows past, present and future. But then his knowledge is not unlimited, the Spirit Master also. But he knows Krishna, and he has realized Krishna, he can see Krishna, and so he can see Krishna's pastimes. And then in this world also, Krishna may reveal to him some things from the past and some things from the future. And then in regards to the disciples also.
But when we say in Bhagavad Gita, Yat Katvana Nivatante, once you go to the spiritual world, you can never come back to the material world.
You will never come.
So which means there is another understanding, some acharyas also comment that we were never in the spiritual world, but we were conditioned, and that we don't know from when we were conditioned.
No, but yes. You see,
and when the...
No, but it's not true we were never in the spiritual world. It's not
because
true.
Some acharyas also comment that there are two types of jivas, Nitya...
That is writing here, no?
Correct.
Nitya Siddha and Nitya Bada.
So Nitya Baddhas are the conditioned souls, and when Krishna winds up the annihilation, etc. takes place, we are taken into his internal, we reside inside, and once again the manifestation happens, he once again puts them back in the material condition.
Yeah, you see there's a spiritual world and a material world. So now, but listen first, the material world is not always there. The material world is sometimes manifest and sometimes not.
Correct.
So when it is not manifest, the jivas are there in the spiritual sky. And the spiritual sky is the effulgence, is Krishna's effulgence. It's not different from Krishna. The Brahma Jyoti is Krishna's effulgence.
So Yat Katvana Nivatante means from where?
What?
So once we go there, then why we have to come back to material world? What is the meaning of the Yat Katvana Nivatante?
If you go there to the spiritual planet and you serve Krishna, then you will not come back.
So only when you serve.
Yeah, only when you
If
serve.
there is no service, then you will come back.
Yeah.
But then, without service, then what was the qualification to go to the, even to the
Brahma Jyoti?
There's no qualification. The person is
No,
fully materially conditioned.
No, but those who are the Mayavadis, for example, they do some sadhana in order to merge in the Brahma Jyoti, which is not easy, very difficult. So, but they can go and merge there.
That is Mayavadis.
Yeah.
But there are people,
Uh-huh.
there are so many people who are not Mayavadis, who are purely materialistic,
Yes.
conditioned people.
Yes.
So how can they enter into the Brahma Jyoti?
No, they cannot go.
So then, when the material world is
Yes.
withdrawn,
Yes.
where do they go then?
They go in the body of Mahavishnu.
So they go in the body. So that means
And-
but the body means you are saying it's same as effulgence.
No, the body, and then Mahavishnu, he's an emanation of Mahashankarshan.
So they'll remain
There.
with the least consciousness inside the body.
Yeah.
When the manifestation happens, they'll come back again.
Yeah.
So they will never reach spiritual world then,
No, they're in the spiritual world,
because they're
but
the
they're
body.
not. They're in the spiritual world.
There is
Mahashankarshan.
Mahavishnu means-
Body.
Mahashankarshan is in the spiritual world.
Yeah,
He's in the spiritual world. And when the material world is not there, the spiritual world is always there. The material world is only sometimes there.
They are not there in Golok
so
Vrindavan,
no,
at
so
least.
No.
neither they are there in the Brahman, they are Brahman effulgence also happens.
No,
They
they
have
are
not
there.
that identity or anything.
They are withdrawn into the
Yeah.
body of Mahavishnu, and they remain there till the next
Creation.
manifestation happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
But you see, the thing is, the Brahma Jyoti is huge and they are unlimited. Jivas are there.
So, Prabhuji, is it safe to say that, at least people like me, that we have never ever seen the form of Krishna face to face? Would it be safe to say that?
Yeah, the Nityabada, they have. No,
Never
they
seen.
cannot see
We have
Krishna.
never seen Krishna.
No. Because they are in the conditioned, spiritually conditioned form. Spiritually conditioned form. So they have not seen Krishna.
Because otherwise, this contradicts that even after seeing Krishna, we were
That-
attracted to Maya.
Yeah, no, it's not
Uh,
possible.
It's not possible.
No. In the spiritual world, there's no Maya.
Mm.
There's no Maya in the spiritual world.
We have basically never seen Krishna.
No. The
Also-
Bada Jivas have not seen Krishna, but they are since time immemorial, but they were not serving Krishna. So that is, therefore this tattva is there, Dashamula tattva, two jivas are there.
Mm.
And then when material world is manifested, they come here. But then by performing devotional service, then they can come to know their Swarup, and then they become liberated, and then they serve Krishna, and then they will never come back. But if Krishna comes, they may come with Krishna for the pastime. Like that.
So Prabhuji, on this same line, when Srila Prabhupada, so when we say you have sadhana siddha and kripa siddha and those different examples, and many times we see Srila Prabhupada would make statements that, like in one instance, Srila Prabhupada had said that those who distribute these books, I guarantee you, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will come down and hold your hand and take you back home. Now, how do we understand these statements? Like, for example, it may be possible that the person may have not crossed at the end of life, they may have not crossed to the six anarthas.
Yes.
But can we say that because Prabhupada has claimed Krishna will have to come down and take them, even though they may or may not be qualified? Would it be something like that?
Well, you saw Prabhupada, according to time, place, circumstances, he has mentioned, so he has made different statements, and just like a father, for example, is encouraging the child. My small child, that you do this and this and this, and then you become a doctor. So, but then still you have to follow the process. And definitely, if you're distributing the books, then you get the special mercy. But then you have to perfect your sadhana also. You have to become pure. You have to change Shuddhanam. So that is there. So you distribute the books, but if you're not chanting Shuddhanam, if you're finding other Vaishnavas, if you're Kanishta, you will not attain perfection. But if you distribute the books, and you chant nicely Hare Krishna, you become perfect, then you go back home to Godhead. So
there's no substitute to purity.
No.
The person has to be pure.
Yeah. But if you distribute books, you get special mercy. Also Prabhupada said if you worship the deities nicely, then you can attain Archan Siddhi, and you go back home to Godhead. So if you worship nicely the deities also, and the pujari doesn't have the time to distribute so many books, but he can also attain perfection. So at different times he made different statements, according to time, place and circumstances. And he wants to encourage everyone, but there was a necessity to distribute the books, so he was pushing for that. And he was making these statements to encourage the devotees that you should understand. But then, even if one is not perfect yet, he may have to take birth again, but he will have a better position in the next lifetime. Chant 16 rounds and you go back home to Godhead. It is true. But, it's like we're on the way back home to Godhead. So you give up this body and then you are going on the way. Ongoing journey. So, also, even if you become perfect, you cannot directly go back to Godhead. Even Prabhupada is mentioned. You become perfect, you have to give up your body, and then you go where Krishna performs his pastimes. You cannot go from here directly to Golok. So you will have to take birth again, right? But then you will be perfect. So that we have to understand. So, and the devotee was more advanced, so he's situated on the spiritual platform. And the next lifetime he will continue. And so if he's situated on his, if he's advanced, he's giving up the body. It's like, when the cloth is getting old, then you get the new cloth and throw away, or you give away the old cloth, right? You're situated in your position. So those who are highly advanced, they realized if they are not completely perfect, then they will take birth and they have to give up the body, and then they get a new body, and then quickly they understand everything. They'll be taking birth in a Vaishnava family, and as soon as they learn how to speak and they understand things, then the father will say, Haribol, spirit soul. And we'll explain, you have to understand, you're not this body. He'll make an example. What is this? What is this? Hand.
Hand.
Whose hand? This is your hand, right? What is this?
My head,
Your hand. What is this?
my body.
Okay. And where are you? Who are you?
The spirit soul.
Yeah, right. So we give an example. Okay, then the boy will understand. Even big people, you have to, in the beginning, they don't know anything. You have to give an example like this. They understand, okay, we're spirit soul.
Malti Mataji and Shamsundar Prabhu's daughter, Saraswati.
Yeah.
Prabhupada was so happy. He used to tell that this girl, 3-year-old girl,
Yeah.
she tells, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul.
Yeah.
Who are you? I'm spirit soul.
Yeah. And who is Krishna? The Supreme
Supreme
Personality of
Personality
the
of
Godhead. Small girl. So must be in the last life already. She was practicing and she was born in a
Where is she
devotee.
now?
Chicago.
Chicago?
Then born in a Vaishnava family, and then 3 years old. No, I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. That is from previous life. I'm not this body, I'm spirit soul. 3 years old, right? So you see from last life. So they are highly advanced, and then they give it a body. If you're highly advanced, you give it up the body, no problem. Those who are not advanced, they're afraid, oh, I'm dying. But those who are advanced, no problem. When you're old, you're happy, okay, I'm going to leave this body. You're waiting, right?
Get lost.
Okay, give up this body, it's useless now.
Prabhuji, sometimes we are in anxiety that we have only 30 or 40 more years to do service
Mhm.
because we know we
So
will
much.
not be so advanced. So then leaving this body also is scary because this body I'm able to do some devotional service.
Yeah.
Next life, I don't know.
So you have
Cat
to be
or dog.
serious from right now, because you only have 30 years.
That is
So
a
you
long
should-
time.
Yeah,
It's a very
but the
less
time
time.
is going very
It's very
fast.
less time, sir.
Sometimes Prabhuji, we have a discussion and we think like the last 10, 12, 15 years have gone by super fast. Another
Yeah.
10, 12 years, like, I mean, I'll be like 40 or whatever. And I remember my father being 40, and I can't imagine like I'll be 40 in another 10 years. But sometimes we have this conversation that if we have to take another life, which apparently it seems so, to become perfect, the way Kali Yuga is progressing, will high class sadhus still be there in another 100, 200, 300 years?
The
Will the
sadhus
books
will
still
be there. Sadhus will be there. Sadhus will be always there. But like for example, who can be like Rupa Goswami? And then who can be like Bhaktivinoda Thakur? Like that. Still acharyas will be there, and there will be also, but like like Rupa Goswami is such a genius. And the environment so pure. But then still the acharyas will be there.
It will be rare.
Yeah, maybe a little less, but it will be still there because Guru Parampara has to go on. Even the Kali Yuga is progressing, but then, they may not be so exalted and they may not live as long as
So it will
everything.
become more difficult for us if.
Yeah, always. Therefore, we don't want to take birth in this world anymore. So we should think, I should make as much as advancement as possible. Maybe I cannot go to Krishna's planet, and maybe I can hope to go to Mahaprabhu's planet where he is there. Mahaprabhu, in one of the universe where Mahaprabhu is there, and be together with Rupa Goswami. And then it will be easier to become completely perfect. Because in this world, it's not getting better. Kali Yuga.
Did you mean that Mahaprabhu is manifesting his pastimes in some other universe right now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
of
place-
course.
Oh, not the.
No, not in the
the
spirit
God-
No,
world.
Okay,
Krishna is doing
got
it
it.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Some Leela is
Okay.
going on somewhere now.
Mahaprabhu is Krishna Leela and Gaur Leela are there in different universes. Krishna is in one universe, and then after Mahaprabhu is coming, and so Krishna in one universe is 1 year old, in another he is 2 years old, and then Mahaprabhu is then after 4,500 years is going in that universe where Krishna was there, and after 4,500 years he's coming there. So in one universe Krishna is just now appearing. In one other universe Mahaprabhu is appearing. Like the sun.
Prabhuji, sorry if I'm being funny, but 500 years ago Mahaprabhu was here. So I might have been, I don't know, some 50 bodies before.
Yeah.
Is it there even a possibility that I would have been on this planet but never seen him, or in some other universe somewhere? I'm just trying to wonder what I was doing. I won't die.
Yeah. Somewhere we were, but well, most probably we are in one universe. It's not easy to change from one universe to another.
Oh, okay.
Unless one is highly advanced, then one can go to another universe. But maybe you were.
Mosquito.
Other species?
Yeah, maybe you were, a cow, and and you were there, and then, or maybe you may also have been a human being already, that may be there, but you may not have been
Devotional.
a devotional, or maybe you were not in India, you were maybe in some other place, so that it's difficult to say. Unless one is.
It would be so criminal to know that if we can go back in the past and see when Mahaprabhu was there, we were there on the planet, but let's say hypothetically we were an atheist or we are not devotional, like it would be such a spiritual suicide that the Supreme Lord is there on the planet, but somehow you
Like, if we think 50 years ago Prabhupada was there and we were not there.
Like I was
25
saying
years ago,
today
so many
morning,
sadhus
like
were there.
somehow we missed Gaur Govinda Maharaj,
Yeah.
Mr. Indra Prabhu, Mr. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, but we are glad we've found you at
You're
least.
such a Probably one more question I had during the class, that you mentioned different sampradayas like Brahma Sampradaya, Sri Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya. So I was brought up in Sri Sampradaya, and when I had to, move to Gaudiya Sampradaya, the argument that was put forth is that, your Sampradaya, comes down from Brahma, and our Sampradaya comes from Lakshmi, who is the consort of the Lord. So this has higher philosophy. So how do we reconcile that after? Even after doing it?
Yeah, it does not have higher philosophy.
That's my point. So why do they think that just because it comes from the consort of the Lord, it could have higher philosophy, or
No,
how
because
is
the
it
thing is,
based
they
on?
don't have the they don't have the highest understanding. They may not understand. Although those who are highly advanced from the Sri Sampradaya, they will understand. I was in Sri Rangam last year, and before that I think maybe it was 3 times, 82 or something and 87. I was there. I was staying in one of the mat there. There was one Acharya. I was staying in one Acharya's ashram. One other devotee was with me also. The Ramanuja Jia Swami. And so I stayed with him, my good fortune. And so he was actually a very special personality. So he was Acharya. He had maybe 5,000 or 6,000 disciples. He was actually from northern India, but he settled down there. So I was there in his ashram, by Krishna's arrangement somehow. And yeah, so I stayed there, and he was well built, but he was very kind, and all the devotees there were nice, and they were like worshipping Lakshminarayan and Sitaram, and so we were staying there a few days, and with me I had my Govardhan Shila, which I have here, the main big one, and had some Shaligram. I had one Nishinga Shila somebody gave me. And so we were every day, I would take darshan also of Ranganath. It was not, we could stay a little longer as nice darshan as of Ranganath. And then we used to take prasad there, nice prasad, and then after prasad we used to talk together with the acharya. And then, so he was actually saying that yes, I know about Mahaprabhu. I know that Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I know that Krishna is Bhagavan, so I'm Bhagavan. And actually superior to Radha Krishna worship is superior than Lakshminarayan or Sitaram worship. I know. But my love goes to Sitaram. So he knew. So many they don't know actually. Lakshminarayan. So the love is there, but they know, they have the knowledge. But the love is there because they have the relationship. So others they may not know who is the absolute truth. They think Lakshminarayan because they have not studied it sufficiently. They may not know. But ours is the highest. So those who are scholarly, they will understand. From any sampradaya, they will have the knowledge about the other sampradayas. So like we should know also something of the other sampradayas. Even Prabhupada said, anyone who dares to sit on the Vyasa-san, he should know the 6 philosophies. Sad Darshan of the 6 great philosophers. So he knew. So but others they may not know. Even Mahaprabhu was there. I would stay with Vekat Bhatta. His house is there. I've seen his house also.
Also, I was wondering, sir, to
It's
answer.
getting late, huh? You have to go. Yeah? Yeah.
Nine
You have
o'clock.
some prasad? It's almost 9 o'clock.
No, to
Maybe you have to wind up.
I give those pedas also.
Yeah, I give them some sweet and some fruits.
Prabhuji,
What is it?
give them.
Yeah, you can turn it off. It's 9 o'clock. It's
Jai.